everyone, it's Sarah and welcome to my crochet channel. Today's video I'm going to show you how to take your leftover cotton yarns and make these useful and also fun to make Nubby cotton sponges. I love these cotton sponges because I love to clean my kitchen with sponges. But those sponges you buy at the store always get really stinky. And the good thing about these is you can just toss them right in the wash along with your other kitchen or cleaning towels. Now it has rows of nubbies on here, front and back, so you have good cleaning power. And it's just basically a front and a back, and then we stitch them together for a nice thick and scrubby sponge. This is a free crochet pattern on my blog, and as always I'll put that blog link down in the notes underneath this video. To make some of our Nubby cotton sponges, you just need to raid your cotton yarns. I've got some leftover yellow, some leftover beige, and so I'm going to make one side yellow and the other side beige. And it doesn't take very much, not even an ounce of cotton yarn. You can use peaches and cream, sugar and cream. I love this cotton, premier cottons, any of your cottons that you have on hand. And you don't have to use solids either. Use up those variegated ones or the striping ones as well. And you can also mix and match right on there if you want to just start with one color and just keep on going until the yarn runs out. Just use up whatever cotton yarns you have on hand. We're going to be stitching today with our H hook. It's a 5.0 millimeter crochet hook. You'll need your scissors and you'll need a needle for weaving in those ends. Now remember, you're going to need to make two. You're going to need a front and a back, and then we're going to put them together. So we're going to begin with our slip knot, and we're going to chain 15 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. We're going to begin with a row of single crochets. So we're going to start in the second chain from the hook. There's our first, there's our second. So we'll go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both loops. And then we'll stitch one single crochet in each of the chains across. One single crochet in each of our chains across. We began in the second chain from the hook, and we started with 15 chains. So we're going to have 14 single crochets, and we're going to chain one. And so for row 1, we have 14 single crochets. We chained one, and we're going to turn. And for row 2, we're going to be alternating 2 single crochets and then a triple in order to get that nubby that we need for our scrubbers. All right, so we're going to place a single crochet in the first 2 stitches. And our chain 1 is just a turning chain. It does not count as a stitch. So there's 1, 2 single crochets, 1 in the first 2. And now we're going to stitch a triple. So we're going to put 2 wraps over our hook. We'll go in, pull up a loop, and you'll have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, yarn over, and go through those third 2. Now we're going to sort of push that forward and go to the next stitch and stitch a single crochet, and then we'll stitch a single crochet in the next one. Now if you turn it over, you'll notice there's a nubby there. And that's what we wanted to do. All right, so let's do another triple, 2 wraps. All right, there's our triple. We'll push it forward and stitch 1 single crochet in the next 2. We'll stitch a triple in the next. One single in the next 2. And then another triple. And then 1 single crochet in those last 2. 1 and get in there. Whoops, my yarn split a little. We'll try that again. There we go. All right, chain 1 and turn. And so you should have 4 of those nubs with 2 single crochets in between. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 single crochets and 1, 2, 3, 4 nubby stitches or triple stitches. And that's the way the row 2 should look. We chained 1 and turned, and now for row 3 we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across. All right, so 1 single crochet in those first 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet in the top of that triple stitch. And that's going to cause that little nub to come out as well. All right, so we're just stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch across. 1 single crochet in each of the singles and a single crochet in each of the triples. Whoops, got a little tangle. There we go. There's our last 2 single crochets and chain 1. All right, so now on that row we have 14 single crochets. So we have our 14 single crochets, chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to repeat the row where we did the nubby stitches or our triple stitches. So we'll place 1 single crochet in the first 2. Then we'll stitch a triple in the next. 2 wraps, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the second 2, yarn over, and go through the third 2. Sort of push it forward and stitch our single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And repeat. Whoops. Well, I've got some tangles this morning. All right, triple stitch. There we go. 1 single in the next 2. 1 and 2. Triple stitch in the next. 1 single in the next 2. 1 and 2. Then we'll stitch a triple stitch in the next. 1, 2, 3. And then our single crochet in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1 and turn. So now we have 2 rows of those nubby stitches or triple stitches. We chained 1 and turn, and now for row 5 we're just going to repeat what we did down here and stitch 1 single crochet in each stitch across. So 1 single crochet in those 2 single crochets and then a single crochet in the triple. And we'll repeat this all the way across our row. All right, here's my last 2 singles, and again I have 14 single crochets, and chain 1. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue to repeat row 2 and row 3 3 more times, or for 6 more rows. We're going to stitch 3 more rows of our nubby stitches with 3 more rows of our single crochets in between. And this will bring us up through row 11. Alright, so we'll repeat row 2, which is our nubby or our triple stitch row, and row 3, our single stitch row. We're going to repeat that 3 more times. This is how it should look when you reach row 11, and your last row should be a solid single crochet row. I want you to see those nubs. I'm going to turn it up so that you can see it. You've got 4 nubs on each row, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of those nubs, which are, of course, our triple crochet stitches. Now, I'm going to be making my second one. Remember, you need 2, and I'm going to be using this beige yarn. I'm not going to tie this one off because I want to do the trim like this one. I want to do it in this yellow. All right, so I'm going to make another one in this beige exactly like I did this yellow one, and then I'm going to show you how to put them together to make the sponge. So here's the yellow one that we made together, and then I made another one in this beige. You can see the nubs. But I'm going to go ahead and tie this one off because, again, I want to make the trim in the yellow yarn. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tie that off. I'm going to use my needle, and I'm going to weave in those ends. I'm going to flatten that out a little bit. It makes it just a little bit easier to get on your needle. All right, so this is my front, so I'm going to go to the back and weave these ends in. I need to do this end. I need to do this side and then the end on this yellow one, and then we'll leave this end attached so we can put on the trim. So we're going to weave them to the inside of our sponge so they stay put. All right, we'll go ahead and clip that one. And then I'll weave in these other 2 and we'll put our sponge together. So we're going to take our front and our back, and we're going to put the insides together so that the nubby sides are facing out. All right? Because that's where we want the nubbies to be, so we can use it as a scrubber. All right, so we're going to go through the front and the back. I'm going to grab that loop, and I'm going to pull it through, and we're just going to make a little chain 1, and that's just getting us up on top of where we need to be. All right, so we're going to be going through both the front and the back and stitching single crochets across the top, joining the front to the back with our single crochets. Let me grab my yarn over here a little closer. There we go. And so we'll just go across the top, stitching single crochets across. And we need to make sure everything stays lined up. All right, and then when we get to this corner, there we go, we're going to place 2 single crochets in the corner. 1 and 2. And that's just going to help it move around that corner nice and neatly. All right, so now we're going to be stitching down the side. We're still stitching the front and the back together, but we're going to be going in the sides of the stitches instead of the top. And you want to try to get in the sides of the stitches themselves and not the holes. Now, I do on this particular one try to go through a few of those holes, of course, because sometimes that's just where you have to put the stitch. But you want to try to make sure it stays nice and secure. Try to get your stitches close together. And you're just going to evenly stitch down the side. There's not a set number of stitches on this. You just want it to lay nice and look even. And also stay secure. All right, we're almost to the corner. Here's our next corner. We're going to put 2 single crochets in that corner. All right, and so now we're going to move across the bottom. And this one's pretty easy because we can just stitch in, whoops, there we go, in those stitches that are from our beginning chain and work across the bottom. All right, so I'm just going to continue across till I reach this next corner. I stitched across the bottom. I put 2 single crochets in that corner, and so now I just need to work my way back up on this side the same way that we did on this side. Just stitching single crochets, trying to keep them even. Try to go in some of the stitches and not always the whole. Just working our way back up to where we started. All right, we're back up here. We're going to make sure we put that second single crochet in that corner. There we go. And then we're going to join to that first single crochet with a slip stitch and cut our yarn. All right, I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch and then pull that loop to the back. And that's just going to give us a better look on the front of our sponge. All right, I'm going to turn this over, tie that off, and then again we'll use our needle and weave that in. I'm going to try to weave it underneath so it doesn't show through. All right, so now here is our sponge that we made with our nubs on the front and on the back. So this is a great way to use up some of those leftover cotton yarns that you just don't know what to do with. You can make something fun and useful for your kitchen, or maybe make some for your friends.